I actually find the fact that New York City rap is not really doing the greatest right now pretty sad. Because even though I'm from the West Coast, I'm from LA, I'm someone who likes East Coast rap. Like my favorite rapper, Jay-Z, is from the East Coast. He's from New York City. I think hip hop is just like in a better place when we have a strong New York City. I'm not talking about the whole East Coast as a whole. I'm talking about New York City. So the fact that New York City rap has been, I think, pretty stagnant the past 10 years, it's a bit troubling to me. And I'm like, when did that happen? The last strongest rap artist that's not just like completely underground from New York City is who? Maybe Nicki Minaj. I know we had this Joey Badass song, even though we like Joey, right? Joey was never, there was a split second where he seemed like he was going to be next up, the next one, but then he kind of took his career in a different direction, respectfully though. I mean, the last big artist that New York City had, notable, I'm not talking just about someone super underground, and I'm talking about New York City, the boroughs, it's Nicki Minaj. And even Nicki Minaj came in the game low-key by way through the South. You know, first with Gucci Mane, and then eventually everyone knew she came out with Cash Money, Young Money, Birdman, Lil Wayne. So even that is like by way of the South. The next biggest, I think, would be A$AP Rocky. And even A$AP Rocky, when he came out, his sound was very reminiscent of the South with the screwed up music. So I actually want to take a second and react to this video that I done. This is the Ruler's Back Joey Badass reaction, but there's a portion of this video that you guys seem to really like, which is my final thoughts, where I said New York City has lost their entire rap identity. So I want to just watch this again and then kind of just make a quick couple comments on it. New York City has pretty much lost their entire identity. Modern day hip hop. The South hasn't. The South has built on what they were doing before. First it was like Outkast and like UGK, not first, but that was kind of like, you know, their first big artists. Then in the 2000s, they added that 808. Then late 2000s, they added them sped up hi-hats. So you got trap music. What they're doing now, like guys like Future and 21 Savage, it tracks. Like you can hear the lineage in their music. Same with the West Coast. We had the gangster rap, and then we started putting, you know, the funk samples and those synths, that's G-funk. Then it kind of built on each other. And now today you can hear like a DJ Mustard beat, but it's what I'm saying is it's distinctly West Coast. New York City has completely lost their identity. Even in this song, Joey Badass says, this is not boom bap. It's like boom bap is New York's sound. That's how you know a New York beat. Like that's New York's historic sound, boom bap. And even in this song, Joey is like, lightweight disowning boom bap. This ain't boom bap. This is boom bap beam or whatever. So, I mean, I can go real deep on the critical takes, but I will say I like that he's using the sound that New York today is known for, which is that drumless sound that really Griselda helped popularize. I won't say they invented it, but Griselda, you know, guys like Derringer, who's another producer, Conductor Williams. I think Conductor Williams did this beat. Who's another one of those East Coast, you know, Nicholas Craven. He's on that type of beat. So I like that he's sounding a little more regional here, but I'll end the video on this. So that's basically what I wanted to show there. And I'll say that I'm mentioning New York City specifically, and I'm not saying all of New York has lost the plot. I'm specifying New York City because, number one, this is where hip hop started. This is where we recognize that hip hop started. This is where the biggest hip hop artists who are from the East Coast, a lot of them come from New York City specifically. But I specify New York City because Buffalo has actually been putting the entire state of New York on their backs via Griselda. Westside Gunn really is who we can give all the props to. Westside Gunn has, from Buffalo, he put the entire state of New York on his back in terms of hip hop, rap music for the past decade or so. And the sound that we associate New York with today, or the East Coast with today, is that drumless, like I mentioned in the video, that drumless, you know, Derringer, Nicholas Craven, Conductor Williams, Alchemist does it too. Alchemist is from California though. That's the sound that we associate with New York nowadays. And I wouldn't say that Griselda and Westside Gunn started that sound. They were the first to do it. I wouldn't say that, but they definitely helped popularize it. And a lot of people are copying off of them. When people do the drumless stuff, it's like hearkening to Griselda. Now, obviously, New York City still has some dope MCs. I'm not saying New York City doesn't have any good rappers right now. One of my favorite rappers, R.I.P. Brownsville Ka. You guys know I was a huge Ka lyric breakdowner. I've done I've done like the past 5-6 albums. I've sat there first listen reaction to all of them. Rock Marcy, one of my favorite rappers. Even though I didn't like his new album that much, the Skeleton Key. I think I like when Rock Marcy produces his own beats. When I see Rock Marcy and Alchemist, who did the Skeleton Key, I have too high expectations. So even though I didn't like Rock Marcy's most recent album, I generally like Rock Marcy's music. I know you guys like Rome Streets. I don't know if Rome Streets is from New York. And I know New York is just not lacking rappers, right? I'm not saying you guys don't have any rappers, but New York is not in the position that they've typically been in the past. And again, I'm someone growing up, I listen to mostly West Coast music, but if you give me a choice between East Coast rappers and West Coast rappers, as a West Coast guy, for me, it's tough because I really like East Coast music, especially from the 90s, early 2000s, Mos Def, Jay-Z, Nas. I was just listening to J. Rue the Damager earlier, Come Clean. I like East Coast rap a lot. I like that lyrical aspect. I like the boom bap production. And I think people took like my statements in this video as a diss, like I'm dissing New York. I'm not. I'm saying it's sad. I would like to see a strong New York again. Like the most popular rapper right now from New York is probably who? I mean, we could look at sales and it's not even a probably. We can just go straight to the facts. But when you think of New York rap, you think drill music, which is not even New York's sound. Like New York is borrowing heavily from Chicago and UK grime with the drill music. And you think the most popular New York City rapper in the past couple years is probably Ice Spice. You know, Cardi B dropped in 2018. She hadn't dropped again since. So I just find it troubling that the New York rap scene is not strong right now. But I did make a tweet about this. I made a post about this. So I want to kind of read some of the comments. So Jericho Beats, I mean, this is the internet, so people try to start stuff. He says, entire hip-hop identity is crazy. I'm here for the debates, though. I'm here for the debates, too. Rap Roundtable said, out-of-towners say the silliest things. I would assume they're from New York, right? Yeah, New York. Right there. Out-of-towners say the silliest things about the towns while hardly or never having 10 tones down out here. Nothing new. So if I say that New York, and I guess this is a thing people do. If I say New York City's rap scene has lost their identity, and you respond that out-of-towners say the silliest things you don't know anything about here. To me, that's not a response. That's a non-response. It's almost like answering a question with a question. Like you didn't even really address what you're responding to. You're just responding. Instead of responding with, no, we have our identity. Don't you remember this? Don't you remember that? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. Instead of saying that, saying like, oh, you don't live out here. Sure, I don't live in New York. But what is your actual answer to this statement? I don't know. People focus on the West Coast line. I would be interested to see Joey battle Simba, Rayvon, or Cos. I'm also curious how other NY artists feel about their heir to the throne line. Yeah, and that's another thing I said in this video. Joey said it's clear who's the heir apparent to the king of NY is. I mean, that's not clear. It's not really clear. And I know a lot of people say, you know, in RIP Pop Smoke, people say, well, Pop Smoke was next. If only Pop Smoke was here. Well, Pop Smoke is also a drill artist. And even when Pop Smoke was here, Pop Smoke he did a freestyle over the 50, you get shot and run to the cops, you're not like me. Yourself a favor, report like I'm Greg Sager. I think he was on the LA Leakers when he did that. Pop Smoke did that freestyle and called himself the king of NY, either in that freestyle or shortly before or after it. And at least the New Yorkers on my timeline, I mean, they laughed at him. They're like, who is he even? Like, who is this dude? You're not the king of anything. And they were laughing because, like, the freestyle, it sounded like he was punching in. It wasn't like a straight off the dome type thing. Like, people, at least the New Yorkers I saw, were not accepting Pop Smoke like that. And maybe I'll just follow like a bunch of, I don't know. When Pop Smoke said he was the king of NY, people weren't like, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, I guess it's easier to say now that he's passed. But anyway, that's besides the point. Holistic Hip Hop says, who wins a battle between Joey and Dave East? Again, Dave East is not even in this conversation. Yeah, put respect on Ice Spice. She's the queen of NY. I mean, here's another response. Y'all made is a West LA Compton versus... Yeah, I don't even know what that says. But I think he's just saying I'm weird for saying this, which is cool. He's entitled to his opinion. But again, this is like a non-response. Again, like answering the question with a question. If I'm saying New York has lost their entire hip hop identity, and your response is weirdos, and then your response is you don't live out here. Wouldn't if what I'm saying is false, wouldn't it be easier to just answer the question? But anyway, that's all I have to say. I love a good New York hip hop scene. I harken back to the early 2000s to the 90s. Biggie, Nas, Wu Tang. Then you had the individual Wu Tang dropping their albums. Ghostface, Iron Man, Cuban Links by Raekwon, Liquid Swords by GZA. Then you got Master Ace. You got OC Jewels. You got The Sun Rises in the East by J. Rule. Like I really like that era of rap. Then you had later in the 90s, Black Star. My question to y'all is, what happened? Where is the disconnect? Because even the two biggest rappers from New York City, we're not talking about Griselda. Griselda did their thing. I respect Griselda, West Side Gun, all of them. But New York City, what's happened? Like, why? Someone smarter than me or someone who's more old head than me, let me know what happened to where New York City just kind of lost the plot. Even the two biggest rappers to come from New York City the past 15 years, Nicki Minaj came through by way of the South, and A$AP Rocky, his sound was the South. That whole Peso song by A$AP Rocky, that is a Southern influence in many ways sound that he has on that song, with the grills and the lean and the screwed up music. So anyways, I mean, let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.